Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this MYOB Advanced Payroll webinar. I am Juanita Potgieter and I look after sales and marketing here at Verde, and I will be your host and moderator today. Now, this webinar should be around 40 minutes or 45 minutes, and we'll start by giving you a quick overview of MYOB Advanced Payroll, and then I'll move into doing a product demonstration. So with that, in our limited time, let's get right into it. If you're already an MYOB Advanced customer, you'll know that MYOB Advanced was introduced into the Australian and New Zealand market in 2014 as the first true cloud ERP solution built for the ANZ marketplace. MYOB Advanced is a cloud business management platform that is transforming the way bigger Australian and New Zealand businesses work. Advanced is an integrated cloud ERP solution that features an easy-to-use payroll module. This payroll module, MYOB Advanced Payroll, can also operate as a standalone payroll solution. MYOB Advanced Payroll is a scalable and secure cloud payroll management solution that can be accessed from anywhere via a browser or via the MYOB on-the-go app. This is available from both Android and Apple. MYOB updates your system to the latest tax rates and thresholds so you don't have to. Pay and entitlement history is recorded and easily accessible. Termination workflows are included that simplifies final payment for resignations and redundancy payments. MYOB Advanced Payroll is fully integrated with MYOB Advanced Business with enhanced reporting, GL Journal, transaction history, order tracking, and more. Advanced Payroll lets you configure employees with a wide variety of pay items, including multiple income types and hourly rates. Payroll administrators can leverage automated workflows, generating GL journals and payment batch files. This saves your payroll team valuable time when workflows are automated. With Advanced Payroll, you can print, email, or host employee payslips via the employee self-service portal. Advanced Payroll features key reports and provides informed views, removing the need to print reports. Information can further be analyzed through one-touch exporting of data to Microsoft Excel. A set of standard reports that are provided include pay run summary, detail, pay activity, GL batch, summary, detail, leave entitlement, movements, summary detail, and much more. Using custom queries and real-time OData feeds, data can be exposed to applications like Microsoft Excel, allowing data to be directly accessed and refreshed. This provides you with smarter and better ways of using your data. I know we are here to see the system in action, so this was a really quick overview, but for more information, please visit our website or download the fact sheets provided. The main objective of this demo is to provide a quick overview of the functionality of the Advanced Payroll Edition. In the demo, we will walk through as an employee and then as an HR manager or administrator. The main areas we will cover is the employee self-service, how employees can engage with the payroll system via the self-service portal, and how this can help gain buy-in from the employee into the organization. We'll look at dashboards and dashboard reports within payroll. We'll look at the transactional content, the leave, basic demographic information about our employees. I'll also look at some employees and touch on some relevant configuration information for an employee. Then we'll run through the basic payroll process. This is a typical flow, however, steps can be moved or removed around depending on where your data is coming from. So let's get into the demo. Logging into MYOB Advanced Payroll, the user will be prompted for their user ID and password. And we can also configure two-factor authentication for more rigid security. Now, the functionality that you'll see today is available via the mobile app, and that app is available from iOS and Android, and I will jump over to show you that shortly. Employee self-service is a module within MYOB Advanced, and there's a number of functions available to allow the employee to interact with the payroll system. The system has been designed from a usability perspective and attempts to reduce the amount of scrolling a user needs to do by placing the information on a single screen. The contact details section contains the employee information within the payroll system, such as their name, contact details, and other personal data. The phone and email section contains contact details. The address tab holds the postal and physical address of the employee. The contact tab allows the employee to maintain their next of kin or emergency contact information. The Attributes tab is effectively user-defined fields that allow us to capture more information about the employee within the payroll system. This could be for compliance reasons, and where dates are involved, we can generate notifications or reports to advise if certain dates are going to expire. On the employment details form, this is focused more on the relationship between the employee and the organization. For example, what department or team they belong to, the position they hold within the company, their employment basis and status, and how many hours they're expected to work. The content cannot be changed by the employee and is controlled by payroll. Each week's tax details presents the employee with their tax file number or IRD number and the tax code that they're currently on. Pay year-to-date balances allow the employee to see what they've received so far in the financial year from the employer, displayed as their gross and taxable income, total tax paid, and their net pay. The pay distribution screen allows employees to see the bank account where their payroll funds are sent. Additional bank accounts can be set up to allow for fixed amounts or percentage of the employee pay to be applied to other bank accounts. If the organization decides, there's also the ability to configure the system to enable the employee to update their own bank account details. The superannuation allows employees to see their super or KiwiSaver information. It also allows them to see employer and personal contributions. Employees can't make super or KiwiSaver changes on the screen. If they wish to do so, they'll need to contact payroll. Payslips allow employees to see payslips held within the system. They can also view and download the payslips for future use. This is the default payslip, and it displays all the information an employee wants to see. During the implementation, we of course load your logo into the system so it can be displayed on the payslip on the top right corner. All the relevant information is held on the payslip based on how the payroll is set up for the employee. We can control the content displayed and what entitlements are made available to the employee. In advanced payroll, we record annual leave in weeks as per the current Holidays Act, and we use a definition of a week to translate weeks into days and hours. An employee can see the current balance for various types of entitlements in the system. You can see from this screen, annual leave is captured in weeks, while family violence and sick leave are captured in days. From this section, an employee can view their accrued balance, current balance, or entitled balance, submitted but not approved balance, approved but not paid balance, and their available balance or total balance. It is possible to control what leave entitlements are displayed. For example, in a lot of organizations, family violence is generally processed outside of the payroll by HR due to its sensitive nature. The hyperlink allows you to create a new leave request for the leave type of that row. The projected leave balance allows an employee to view how much leave they are entitled to on a specific date. Employees can select a future date from the calendar, and the system will estimate how much leave the employee will accrue by that selected date. Note that this is an estimated balance and is based on the employee information held within the system. If the employee was to take an extended period of unpaid leave in the future, this could impact the projected leave balance calculated by the system. Once again, we can control the leave entitlements displayed. Now, leave requests allow an employee to view their submitted leave requests. The leave request can be accessed from the prior screens or where they will automatically start a leave request based on the selected leave type. But here we are displayed with a list of leave requests currently held within Advanced Payroll. Over time, this list will increase, so there are tabs to filter the requests based on the different statuses. From here, employees can also generate a new leave request. If I was a manager, I would see all the employees who report to me and could create a leave request on behalf of an employee. For example, if an employee calls in sick, a manager can process the request straight away so that it isn't missed. It will get approved automatically. Although it's a leave type for privacy and sensitivity purposes, family violence leave is often treated offline by the payroll team or represented as a more generic type, for example, alternative leave. We can select a portion of a day or one or more full days. If an employee wants to take 1.5 days, they will need to submit 2 leave requests. Enter the dates for the leave if you have selected one or more full days. The system automatically calculates the amount of leave to be taken based on the settings held against the employee record. As annual leave is maintained in leave, we do not expect the employee to know how to calculate a portion of a week, so the system does this for them. An employee can also record comments, and leave types can be configured to require the employee to attach a file before they can submit their leave request. So we can then save our request for later. The employee may not want to first discuss this with a partner or something. We can bin the request, or we can just go ahead and submit the request. This will then allocate a reference number and update the approval details. The approval details shows the manager who has been sent an email notification of their leave request and the current status, which the employee can track. We can configure multiple approval levels for different employees if required, for example, a supervisor and then a manager. In this example, Ms. Sally Brown will receive an email notification that Ben Wood has submitted a leave request. And this, in turn, will prompt Sally to access the employee's health service and review the request. The employee calendar allows the employee to view public holidays and submitted leave requests. And if we jump over to the team calendar, this allows an employee to view their team's approved leave requests. No, we don't see a lot in here, but an employee can hover over their own leave requests to view further details. However, due to privacy, if there were any leave submitted by any of their team members, they will not be able to see the context of the type of leave that's been approved. As I mentioned, MYOB Advanced Payroll is accessible via a browser or via the mobile app for both Android and iOS. This feature allows an employee to view their payroll information anywhere, anytime. Using the mobile app, your employees will be able to view their details held within the payroll system, maintain their contact information, access payslips, view leave balances, and raise a leave request. The mobile app has 2 main functions, My Details and My Leave. Like in the browser system, My Details focuses on the employee information. Contact Details enables your employees to view and maintain their contact information, including personal details, contact numbers and email addresses, physical or postal addresses, attributes, and emergency contacts. The employment details outlines the basic information regarding an employee's role within your organization. Pay distribution lists the bank accounts where an employee's pay will be deposited. Tax details display the IRD number for employee and relevant tax information. And finally, pay slips allows an employee to access their pay slips online. In My Leave, an employee can view their current leave balance, their projected leave balance at a future date, and any leave requests already submitted. They also have the ability to easily submit a new leave request by selecting the type of leave they wish to take, entering the start and end dates for the leave request, and clicking Submit. Now I'm going to log in as a payroll person or someone with elevated authority to manage the payroll situations. My menu structure has increased and now I can see a dashboard on my homepage. You can provide users in your organization with access to a variety of payroll-related information. Depending on their role, this may include transaction costs, leave, and/or basic demographic information about your employees. Depending on the permissions, your team can also create personalized dashboards to display exactly the information needed in various formats, including text, charts, graphs, and tables. Here you will see an example of a dashboard we have created using information from the MYOB Advanced Payroll solution. The dashboard includes reports focusing on payroll costs, information regarding annual leave, and some basic employee demographics. You can hover your mouse over any chart on the dashboard to see exact figures or choose to display these in the legend next to the chart. For more information on chart data, click on the report name and a new tab will open with a tabular view of the data. You will see a more extensive view of the data, and this can be exported to Excel by clicking on the Export to Excel button. Depending on how dashboard reports have been configured, they can allow you to have more visibility over your business performance. Average salary cost by department agenda focuses on the pay equality within our organization and allows us to see what the average salary cost is for our male, female, and gender diverse employees in each department. Knowing which employees have the most leave owing to them, or in reverse, the employees with the least amount of leave is also crucial information for an organization. Leave liability has an impact on an organization's balance sheet, so having visibility of this on the dashboard is important for all teams like finance, but also allows us to see which critical resources are banking leave or even simply to monitor employees to encourage that they take regular time off for their general health and well-being. Sick leave by day of week will show you the most popular days employees are taking sick leave. Drilling down on the report data will allow you to look for trends and see if any employees are abusing their sick leave. Lastly, our dashboard includes some basic demographics about our employees. This simple report can show the gender split in our organization, for example, how many male, female, or gender diverse employees we have, and any employees with a missing gender entry. You can review the age of your workforce and see how many employees are nearing retirement age. See how many employees reside in each area of your business and how long employees have been with your organization. Finally, if you need to track expiry dates of visas, certificates, or other items for compliance, these can be displayed on the dashboard as well. The employee screen contains a list of all our employees. Now, employees can be imported in bulk or manually added to the system via the employee screen. Within the screen, we have the ability to change our columns around or sort our columns, apply quick filters, or even do a quick search for an employee. We can easily create a new employee by clicking on the Add button at the top. But let's view our employee Ming Yu. Here is a detailed view of an employee in the system. The employee screen is where you can add or update employee information such as their contact details, employee settings, and personal information. The employee settings include setup around the employee classes. This is used to preset some settings relating to ACC and how the general ledger transactions will be generated for this employee. We can select the branch or entity the employee has been assigned to, the department, and the calendar. The Employment History tab tracks the employee's status within the organization, their position or role, their employment status, may that be permanent, fixed term, contractor, or casual, their employment basis, so casual, part-time, or full-time, and we can also track when an employee is terminated and the reason for the termination. We can also add emergency contact information as we saw within the self-service module. Under the Financial Settings tab, the main focus is the default bank account details for the employee. The employee record is shared between Advanced Business and Advanced Payroll, which is why there is GL account details on this tab. In Attributes, you have the ability to see additional details for employees, and some attributes can be set up as an internal attribute only, in which case it can only be seen by Payroll on this tab. On the Pay Details screen, we can see all the information that makes up an employee's pay. Now, this is country specific. Standard pay is what is automatically generated on a periodic basis, in this case monthly. Current pay is what ends up on this month's payslip, there can be a number of pay items set up, and within MYOB Advanced Payroll, we can accrue leave on a pay-by-pay basis, except for sick leave and family violence leave, which are accrued on a lump sum basis in New Zealand. Annual leave is accrued in even parts over the period of employment. For example, for a monthly pay, they accrue 1/12 of their 4-week allocation each month. Advanced Payroll will validate the IRD number is entered is an accurate number. If you select a tax code with additional requirements, for example, a student loan, it opens an additional box of information below. A weekly threshold shows the minimum payment required. And if IRD approached the company and mandated additional payments to be made, for example, the person's student loan repayments are in arrears, and this is where the employee has decided to pay off their loan quicker. The start date is critical as it determines when leave will start accruing. Holidays Act settings reflect the Holidays Act but can be set on an employee-by-employee basis. Work pattern is the pattern that the employee works, for example, Monday to Friday. Two options available here: a work calendar, it's set hours on set days, or employee schedule, actual worked hours on a given day. This is likely to apply for rostered workers. FBAP's rate, the rate to pay extra pay items, for example, bereavement leave, sick leave, etc. A relevant daily pay is what they would have been paid if they worked that day. Average daily pay is calculated over the past 52 weeks and is used when an employee has varying pay. Commission bonuses could push that rate up. An agreed rate is written into the employment contract. Source of RDP as standard rate or standard pay. An ordinary weekly pay rate affects the rate that will be applied to annual leave. This shows how we deliver the payslip to the employee: print, email with PDF attachments, email with link to mobile app or self-service portal. PDF attachments can be password protected by a couple of ways. And lastly, the ACC levy rate. Payroll posting class directs the GL transactions applied at the end of the pay run. Same as displayed on the employee self-service portal, but allows payroll to answer a query from a manager or employee. And this allows the system to translate annual leave in weeks back to hours. So 3 options available: work calendar, employee schedule, or the roster, fixed hours, days, for when the actual days times may differ from week to week, but total an agreed amount. A more complex look-back option is also coming. Here we track whether the employee has opted in or out, and the date and reason, and the bank accounts where the employee will be paid, and this can be split by amount or percentage. On the pay item screen, we can set up all the relevant pay items for paying our employees. There is a number of defaults relating to how it will handle FBAP's leave, others for handling the termination of an employee. Otherwise, we can set up whatever pay items we want for paying the employees. The description can be different between payroll and what shows on the payslip, and the type here includes allowances, deductions, income, entitlement payments and accruals, superannuation on costs. Taxation, this is how the item will be taxed. In this case, it will pick up the employee's standard rate. A multiplier can be applied, for example, for time and a half or double time. This drives what and how much information is displayed on the payslip. GL purpose defines the GL account that will be assigned to this item for GL transactions after the payroll run. If I change this to a deduction, you'll note here that it's 0 because it's different for every employee. This shows quite different for deductions. The deduction reducing balance, this is used for fines that are paid on behalf of the employee. Deduction allow partial deduction. This ensures the payment can't exceed a certain percentage of the employee's pay. And under analysis, this is how it will be paid. It can be set up to be paid as part of the pay run. If I now click on the Pay Item Liabilities button here, it will open the Pay Item Liabilities screen, and this screen shows how each pay item will be treated for the Holidays Act. Notice, for example, that KiwiSaver payments are not included in any of the calculations. So we will work with our customers to configure this information during the implementation. The Manage Pay function is where we manage the processing of all pay runs. To pay an employee, you create a pay run for the pay group. Once the pay run has been created, you can view the pay run details by selecting the pay run ID. The system automatically picks up the dates of the next pay run and populates the physical pay date. These can be edited. For example, for monthly pay runs, the physical date might fall on a weekend, so you can roll that back to the Friday. If we click OK here, this starts to initialize the pay run. It looks for all employees that are part of this monthly pay run and loads their standard pay items into the pay run. This might take a few seconds. Now, once it's loaded, you can see there are 15 employees in this run. For salaried employees, the pay and tax amounts would be populated. This shows all the employees being paid within the pay run and the pay period it covers. If we click on an employee, we can see their current pay. All their standard pay details are brought through to this pay. Any additional pay items or adjustments can be entered at this stage. So here we can see all the items, the pay items that the employee is going to receive with their rates and amounts. This includes the KiwiSaver leave accruals. You can select a line and delete it. Changes here only affect the current pay. So the next pay run, it will appear again. If we don't want to see an item again, it needs to be removed from the standard pay. The quantity of time can also be changed, and you can also add a new row if needed. For regular deductions, we should add them to the standard pay so that they appear in every pay run. Now we can go back and do some checks on the data. So going back onto the pay run, we will drill down into the pay run, and there's an option here to remove rows. A possible scenario for this is when an employee is leaving and we want to run a separate termination run for them. If you're using MYOB Advanced Payroll as a standalone system, your next step here would have been to pull in the timesheet data. And just like the timesheet data, we would now also import any leave. It is now pulling in the leave requests that were marked as ready to pay. And then we would do the same for public holidays. Once these are loaded, we now have all the components we need for the pay run. If I click on Leave Summary, here it will show us all the leave in the system that is being paid to employees as part of this pay run. Now, I don't have any in this pay run, so I'll just quickly show you an example of one that is completed. And you can see here that it can be filtered by employee or by leave type. When we slide across this grid, we can see the quantity, rate method, and rate giving the payment amount. As we scroll across, we can see warning messages showing there's a higher rate available. For FBAPS leave, it shows the ADP and RDP values. For the annual leave, the rate is separated out so the user doesn't get confused. The system has calculated the average weekly earnings and the ordinary weekly pay rate for 4-week average. If those rates didn't match, we might get a warning that it's not the highest rate. Now let's just navigate back to the pay run we were busy with. And here we can see how the pay expenses will be presented in the GL. There are a couple of reports available. For example, you can run a pay summary report if you want to review it, save it as a PDF and or email it to an approver. Let's say you have now completed your pay run faster than you used to. It's Monday and you don't need to process it until Wednesday. We can then just click process and then OK. And this locks the pay run and prevents anyone coming in and making any changes. We can still go into an employee record and view the content, but you can see I can no longer add or delete or edit any of the rows. Now let's assume it's Wednesday and it's time to run the pay run. At this point, all employees' pays in the pay run are locked and become read only. Once processed, if you discover that you have any errors, you can cancel the pay run and make any necessary changes. Select Complete to finalize the employee's pay, generate payslips, and create the bank file. And you can see it's now creating payslips in PDF files, a bank file, and the GL transactions. Now, there can be an approval stage here, or it can be set up to be auto-approved, as is the case here now. If approval is required, someone different has to come in, review the pay, and mark it as approved prior to being able to export the bank file. Some customers want to send out their pay slips first so that any queries can be addressed prior to the bank run. If the pay run needs to be changed due to an employee coming back with a query, you can go back into the pay run and reverse it. If you reverse the pay, it takes it back to when we clicked on the process button. That means all the changes we've made to date are maintained, and we can now make further changes, then click process, then complete, and it will generate new pay slips, bank file, and GL transactions. When we click on the release button, this assigns the GL batch number. When we click on the payslips button, you can see here the payslips can be scheduled to go at a certain time, or we can just process them. And this will produce the 15 odd emails with the PDFs attached. The final step is the employment info return and the employment details return for the IRD. These are required for payday filing. They generate output files for you to upload to IRD, although this will be automated in the future. Additional steps include the payroll expense allocation batch. This distributes the overhead payroll cost across multiple departments or the entire business, for example, something like marketing. Payroll expense allocation. This allows you to preset how the allocations are to occur. This is about all we have time for today, but if you are interested in seeing more in-depth demos, please contact our team and we can set up a discussion on your requirements. If you're interested in seeing more of MYOB Advanced in general, then please head over to our website and access some of our other on-demand webinars. Thank you all for joining today, and we look forward to picking up discussions with you.